What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. We are back on this hiatus of Survivor between Survivor Season 31 and Season 32, and we're going to be doing these other kind of Survivor-related episodes. So my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa. Hope you guys had a happy holiday and that this new year is going to be great for all of you. We're really excited to spend another year talking about Survivor with all of you. So this week's episode is, as the title of the video probably let you know, one-time players, people who have only played Survivor once, who we'd like to see play again. And this is a mixture of people who have won the game and people who haven't. I think we have 4 winners we're talking about, and then 7 non-winners. And so Rachel and I originally each made up a list of 10 people. But as it turns out, our lists were very, very, very similar. We only had one person that was different between our 2 lists. So
Yeah, I texted Alyssa an hour ago, here's my 10 people for tonight, what's yours so we can plan it. And then she's like, we have basically every single one the same. I was like, this is crazy. So yeah, like Alyssa said, one-time players, and we thought since it's coming off of Second Chance, they were only one-time players, we do this, and it's crazy. All of the people we would want to see play again did play last season, so these are other people we would want to see play again. So starting off with Season 1, we're going to be talking about Greg Buist from Borneo. I don't know, so I guess Greg, I love him. I just I was watching Survivor Season 1 over the break, and Greg is so funny. He's the original comedian kind of crazy guy on the island. I'm pretty sure he was invited to play again for Season 31, but then he declined the offer because of some work things.
Yeah, he did. I'm looking at the trivia section of their profiles on the Survivor Wiki.
I know, just Greg, he was just so funny on the season. I don't know, I sort of cringe watching those old seasons because none of them, the phone is ringing. None of them want to do strategy because it didn't happen yet.
Is that all you have to say about Greg?
Do you want to talk about, you want to talk about it while the phone's ringing?
I mean,
want to talk about him?
I don't really have anything beyond what you said. I would love to see him actually try to strategize something as opposed to their whole mess that was Borneo.
Yeah. We've seen Jervis play recently. We saw Kelly Wigglesworth play recently. You know, Richard played. Sue played. I think it's time for Greg to play. He was just out of the Ivy League college the first time. Let's see him now. I think that'd be so interesting to see if he's still crazy and funny or just, I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
I think seeing the earlier season players play again is always interesting because you see how much they change. Jeff Varner, he changed a lot. My sister and I were looking at pictures of him today, and I pointed him out in one of the pictures, and Rachel's like, "There's no way he's the same guy," and he was. So anyway, next on our list is Ian from Palau.
Season 10!
One of the things about Palau I think that's so interesting is that Oolong was just destroyed so completely that no one on the Karor tribe really had to strategize at all until halfway through the game, which I think is interesting.
I literally cannot believe Oolong lost every single immunity challenge until they were down to 2 people left, and then Stephanie won their whole fire making, and then moved on to the merge. And I was like, what the heck? How did they lose? How did they suck so bad?
I think that they didn't suck as a team so much as the fact that they just couldn't work together. I think I accidentally contradicted myself. They just couldn't work together. And to be fair, the other tribe did have a lot of strong players, like Ian. Fun fact, Ian is the 3rd tallest player ever to play Survivor. like I said, I was looking at the trivia sections.
Who's the
So
tallest?
I think that I read an interview with Jeff Probst, and he said that if Ian hadn't given up immunity at the last challenge, it's entirely possible that he could have won the $1 million. And I think the fact that he stepped off the platform to let Tom win the challenge was like, it was like a nice like moral move. Like, wow, you're such a good guy to want to like to care more about someone else's friendship than $1 million. But at the same time, it was kind of a stupid move. So I'd like to see him play again and not be blinded by like that whole thing.
Yeah, that whole season, like he and Tom Westman were like buddy buddy hip hip, like they were the two running the show. Like they went out and caught sharks together and stuff. Like they were the two power players. And then the final immunity challenge, Ian gets off the freaking pole after like 8 hours or some crazy long time, more than 8. Well, I forget. But a crazy long time standing on those poles in the water. Then he's like, don't take me to the end, take her to the end, and then we can have our friendship back. I was like, I mean, I think like back then they were more into the friend kind of, I don't want to stab you in the back. So it'd be interesting to see if Ian can come back and be willing to cut some throats.
Yeah, because I think now like they're able to like be friends despite the fact that they backstab each other. Like I think people are good enough at separating their like real lives from Survivor, so to speak. And like a lot of people I think from the 30th season of Survivor are still like best buddies, dirty 30.
Yeah, so definitely seeing if Ian could like, I don't know, be able to not have the whole buddy buddy, like, I'm going to give you $1 million. I can take my car that I won at this reward challenge, but you can have the million. Because, yeah, if Tom and Ian went to the end, it would have been, like, closer. And it would have been more, I guess, I don't know. Could have changed some Survivor history.
Yeah, just because like Tom was considered one of the first winners of Survivor to like win with integrity and stuff like that. And I think like not having that sort of model might have changed the future of Survivor. Also, Tom was put on Heroes for Heroes versus Villains, so maybe if Ian had won once, he would have come back on Heroes versus Villains, and we wouldn't even have been talking about him at this podcast.
Yeah, maybe Ian Rosenberger could have been in season 20. 10 and 20. Look at that. Even numbers.
Oh, Ian Rosenberger was also supposed to come back for second chances, but he did not.
You see, all of these people that we would want to see play again, like all of our favorites did play in second chance, and all of these other people, they could have played if they declined the offer. Like, dang. It would have been good.
It would have been good.
Would have been good. So next we have the one and only Shane Powers from Survivor Panama. Man, even though Shane said he will never come back to play because he didn't get on second chance, like he was like, this is the last time since he's like been called before second chance to like go back, but it like never worked out. He's like, Survivor's dead to him. He's not going back. It's like such a bummer because in Panama, he was like so quirky and sort of like Greg. They're like funny, fun to watch, and like I don't know. I think he's just cool to watch on TV. Good TV. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like everything you said was true. I don't really have much to add to that. So, next one, Todd Herzog from China. He was the winner of China. He won the Survivor season in China. That is, he was the winner of China, the country. Sorry. So, other than being a gay Mormon, because who doesn't love themselves a gay Mormon? I think that Todd was just like, he was such a good strategic player, but he did it in a way that like, he danced circles around everyone else in China, and I feel like, but they didn't even realize that he was doing it. Or at least that's the way I saw it. And like Jean Robert in the first, like, Jean Robert totally pinned him down, but despite that, he still ended up winning. And also, apparently in a Survivor bio, he said that he's willing to gather wood and expletive. And I just think that's so interesting. Like, he's such an interesting personality. And I think that being in an area that isn't landlocked would be really interesting for him. So
Yeah, I think definitely. Yeah, Todd. Yeah, like you were saying, Jean Robert. He was like on the premiere of that season. He was like, I guess he pinned him because Jean Robert is like a poker player. He pinned him for like the kind of smart guy. And then yeah, I mean, from a viewer's standpoint, we can sort of see that Todd is like sort of really good at the game and like running things on the tribes. And then the girls and all of them didn't want to vote him out. I mean, they were thinking about it. I think like PG, did she mention it a few times before she was
I
out?
think
And
so.
then maybe yeah, Courtney and Amanda should have cut the throat. But yeah, definitely. But I don't think Todd will ever play again either, because I've seen some Dr. Phil episodes where Todd's like a raging alcoholic now.
Todd's a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, apparently, like if you YouTube it, you can find like the Dr. Phil episodes. I think it's Dr. Phil at least, where like he's on the show like because he needs like help. He's like blown through the million, and I don't know. Maybe he's better now, but those were from a few years ago that I saw. So
I did not even know that. Okay.
yeah, look it up. Look it up after this. But I think those are old, so he might have gone to like rehab and gotten better. So hopefully he's better. We want the best for Todd. Yeah. So should we move on to the next one?
Sure.
Okay, so next we have Tocantins, and we both said Tosh Johnson George. We love
Babe.
Tosh. Man, like she was in that threesome group with Stephen Fishback, with JT. Like the three of them were so good, and then JT and Stephen were smart and got rid of Taj at the final four, and then Aaron was still there, and then I mean they played it well getting rid of Taj because she's well liked. She did strategize. I mean, I think her like she was trying to hide the fact that she was married to a famous guy, right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
also part of what makes Taj so likable, the thing she did at the reward challenge where like she went to Exile Island with her husband so everyone else could like see their loved ones.
Yeah, I think
in the final four instead of the final three was also good for them because like getting someone out in the final three leaves a lot of room for bitterness when they're voting. So
yeah, definitely, because it was only a final two. If like JT and Steven, was I saying Spencer? Oh my God. I was thinking, this is for the end for random people we want to see. I was thinking of another Spencer that from Tocantins, so we can talk about that later. But I can't believe, what the heck, Fish. We want Fish and JT and Taj. Like, if they got rid of Taj at the three, then Taj would be like, what the heck, we were all close. So I guess, yeah, it was good to bring Erin there and then get rid of her there. But yeah, I don't know, Taj is just so likable. I think she has a great story. She did strategize, and she was like friends with everyone. And she did have that Exile Island Alliance. So we can talk about that with my next person.
So since you were the one who said him, do you just want to do it?
Yeah, so this is where Alyssa and I diverge our paths. So the next one she's going to be saying is different from what I said. So all the rest we have the same that were on our list, but these next two are what we had different on our list. So I had Brendensen from Tocantins to play again. He is the original dragon. Like, what coach's name is like that's what Coach is. He's the Dragon Slayer. And because Brendan was like the original one, I don't know, it'd be cool. He was like he's like the first jury member on that season, I think. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see him again. He's like an entrepreneur and like, yeah, he sort of screwed up at the merge when he and Tosh and Steven and Sierra all had this great like Exile Island alliance, and they could have like flipped the game on its head, and maybe JT wouldn't have won if those four like worked together, because they weren't on the same tribes at the beginning, and then they like went to Exile Island together. So I really think if I don't know, it'd be cool because he does have a lot of good thinking. I know. I like him. The original dragon for Coach the Dragon Slayer. So yeah, Tocantins.
So then the person that I said that Rachel didn't say was Judd, aka Fabio. And so he was the winner of Nicaragua. And part of the reason I want to see him again is just because Nicaragua, I feel like, as far as Survivor seasons go, was like a pretty crappy Survivor season. Like, there wasn't a whole lot going on a lot of the time.
That medallion of power.
Yeah, so personally, I'd like to see Fabio in a game where, like, sliding by just because everyone else was, like, snapping at each other's throats wasn't the thing. Because, like, pretty much what he did was he stayed under the radar despite pretty much being Joe. And then he won because people respected the fact that he won a lot of challenges. And I don't know, I'd like to see him paired with other players who are more competitive and more strategic and recognize the fact that he's a strategic threat.
Yeah, definitely. That would be interesting to see because, yeah, like the game has changed, and now just like playing that under the radar game, sort of like him and like Natalie did, might not win you the game depending. So moving on, next one we have Jim Rice from the South Pacific, and he was on the voting for the Survivor Season 31 second chance, but then he didn't make it. It was so sad. I think he is really good. Like, he lied about being he owns like two what kind of stores? Meth? No.
Marijuana.
Marijuana. It started with an M. Two marijuana dispensaries. Like, that's interesting, but then he lied and said he was a school teacher.
Marijuana stores.
Dispensaries.
Stores are different things from schools.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just interesting, and like during the Survivor like game, season 31 votings, he was like, email me, you know, strategy that you think I should do. I think it'd be interesting if he actually like reads those and then tries to implement some of them, because some people probably had some good ideas for him. And I don't know, he just seems like he would be like great on the season, and like if Cochran didn't flip on his season, then maybe like his group could have gotten further. I don't know. I just like him. What do you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agreed. Like, another trivia fact, he and Brandon Hance tied for the most weight held during the Shoulder the Load challenge, which is the challenge where you have the T-bar across you and you have to like hold on to weights.
Yeah, I think that's a cool challenge. Like the increasing weights, I think that's so interesting.
Yeah. So, just an interesting fun fact about him. So, the next contestant that we have to talk about is Kim Spradlin. She was the winner of One World, which is season 24. And Kim was just like, she was so smart, and I don't even understand. Like, she outpaced everyone else in her like season, and like she was always 5 steps ahead of them. And like Jeff Probst has put her on his list of top 5 or top 10 winners, and I think she's just really really cool. Like, that's really all I have to say. She's amazing, she's smart, she's awesome.
Yeah, literally, Kim is like OP great. Like, she had the whole game under her finger. No one like really ever brought her name up to vote her out, and she like talked with the guys, and she even considered like going with them, and she like played that, and then she ended up going with all the girls since it was split up like male female at the beginning and then the merge. So I don't know, she was just so good. Like you could tell she was going to win like in it because she was just amazing on the season. I don't know, like what you were saying, she's just great. She just ruled that season so well. Like I don't even know what to say.
I'd like to see her again with like other players who could strategize for, like people who like wouldn't let her get so far ahead of them, or
Yeah, I
like
think
even if she was ahead of them, not by like the great leaps and bounds that she was earlier.
yeah, I feel like she would be good on a like all-star season or like an all-winners season. And so that sort of goes into the next one with Denise Stapley from Philippines. I think she would be great on a like all-winners season because she went to like she went to every single tribal council in the Philippines every single time, and no one like brought her name up to vote her out, like, or like, you know, she lived through all of that, and then she cut Malcolm's throat right at the right time at the final four, and then like Malcolm was her biggest competitor, and then so I don't know, she's just amazing. Also, she was great.
We have a lot of respect for people who win Survivor like in the most cutthroat way possible, just because like people who win Survivor by getting by, like Fabio, I don't really like them as much, but yeah. So the next person or this is actually the final person on our list, is Hayden Moss from Blood versus Water. He played as Kat's loved one. He was her boyfriend at the time. He isn't anymore. Hayden, I think he's like very strategic, and I think the fact that he came from Big Brother is like something that helped him with that, because I feel like once you're on one game show, you can kind of like amp it up and become better at all the other ones. Like Amber and Rob came in second place on Amazing Race because they were so great at Survivor. And I don't know, I think part of the Blood versus Water twist is it's very difficult to like keep your loved one in mind by making moves, and the fact that he still was able to make moves even though like, well, Kat got voted off, and then he was still able to make moves even though she was gone, and also the Purple Rock tiebreaker that he forced, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I would want to see Hayden play again in like the single setting to see how he could do. Like Wentworth did this season. Like she was so great alone without her dad. Like seeing Hayden like in his element alone, and he did win Big Brother, like you were saying. So I think that'd be great. And yeah, he did force that Sierra rock drawing thing. Like if he brought that to his like another season, like I think that would be a great season.
Fun fact, um, Hayden almost got cast in Survivor Nicaragua, but the person who replaced him was, guess who?
Fabio.
Yes. So
Wow.
who replaced him like won Nicaragua. So I almost wondered like what would have happened if Hayden had been like on Nicaragua instead of Blood versus Water. Because yeah, like we saw, all of the Blood versus Water contestants seem to do better when there is no blood. Like Jeremy won second chances. Wentworth came very close to winning second chances because they weren't like bogged down by their loved ones.
So do we want to just do some like random people, like without really like explaining, just like some other people we would want to see again that we thought was cool?
All the people that I want to see again have all played like more than once. So
Okay, I was writing some down. So I said Spencer Dumb from Tocantins, and maybe that's why I was saying Spencer instead of Fishback. I don't know. He was cool. I think he was really young. I think was he like the youngest Survivor player? He was like 19 or something at the time, so very young.
I think Brandon Chance was also 19, so Brandon might have like taken that from him. I'll look it up.
He's very young, like. I don't know, if you play again, I think that could be interesting. And also Eddie and Reynolds from Fans vs. Favorite too, like with the Malcolm, the Three Amigos thing. I think
loved him.
one or two, Eddie or Reynolds playing again, I think that could be interesting because they did seem like they were thinking, yeah.
2 people from the first Fans versus Favorites that I'd like to see play again. Natalie Bolton, who like totally had a thing for Parvati, and then also Jason Siska.
The stick.
So I just think that would be interesting.
Yeah, and the last person I was thinking about, we might think of more like just randomly later that'll miss this episode that we are doing right now, but I think seeing RC play again from Philippines, that could be interesting because like the whole RC Abby fight really like screwed up RC's game because I don't know. I think she could play again. I think she was like in the running to come back for 31, but then when she was like, Abby's there, nay, not today, I don't want to go back. So yeah, any more?
Not that I can think of. If we think of any more, we might mention them later. So next week, as a total opposite of this week, we're going to do players that we never, ever want to see play Survivor ever again. Either just because they were bad players or they've been used.
Yes, so that'll be next Friday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and comment, and then we will see you guys next week. And we can't wait to do more hiatus videos.
See you later, alligators.